everyone, and welcome back to Arguably Speaking.
I'm Kiera.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Bella.
Our special guest.
Yay! Bella's joining us this week because we're just about to head home for the holidays and we wanted to do something a little special, a little fun. And we're also doing something that Bella is very passionate about, and that...
Stoked.
Yeah, she's really excited about, and that is personality tests.
And for those of you who don't know Bella, we've mentioned her quite a few times on this podcast, but she's our roommate. We're all the Colorado girlies all together.
The third and final.
If you're from Colorado, want to befriend us, and you live in Seattle currently, you can join.
Come live with us.
Come hang. We have an opening.
We have an opening.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Bella is a very dear and close friend of mine from high school. And so Kiera and Bella knew each other in high school because it was not that big of a place. But, you know.
Well, we
Small
know
town.
of each other adjacently.
Yeah,
exactly.
Friendly conversations, maybe.
Exactly.
But, like,
we also didn't really have like classes together, so there wasn't a whole lot
Yeah.
of like overlap.
Different circles.
there's also like a grade difference, and the thing that bridged the grade difference was band for you guys.
Exactly.
And I was not in band because I am not instrumentally inclined.
But we were band.
Yeah.
The best. I love it. But yeah, so of the Venn diagram of Kiera and Bella, I exist
Sarah's the
in
middle.
the center.
Yeah.
And now also is Seattle. So
Yeah.
pretty fun stuff.
And now we just live together.
Pretty cute. It's wild. It's wild.
We live here
In this place.
in this place.
You're watching us live,
Together.
not live.
Not live.
Definitely not. But
Being alive.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You're alive. We're alive. It's basically alive.
from Seattle.
We're here.
Okay, anyways, Kira's gonna run us through the different tests that we're gonna talk about. We all took them before getting on camera so that you don't just have 3 hours of us sitting and being like, huh, that's a weird way to ask a question.
Yeah. A lot of prep.
Yeah.
A lot of prep. More
A lot of
prep
prep.
than we've done for maybe any other video.
I had homework.
Yeah, because some of these tests were very, very long.
Yeah.
I was shocked at some of them. But to go over them, we have the Myers-Briggs test, which is really kind of the knockoff version because I think to do the full thing, you have to pay for it. For a lot of these things, there's paywalls. So we're going to have slightly limited information for some of them, but we'll do our best.
Yeah.
The Harry Potter sorting hats,
Super fun.
the Enneagram, the high five personality test, and love languages.
Yeah. And the high five, that's a knockoff of the Clifton strengths.
Yes.
So-
So
Think aptitude, strength, application to business setting.
some
kind
of them
deal.
are a lot more
Sounds
work
right.
oriented than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different aspects of life.
Right, exactly. You know, because usually when you get hired, you're not like, and my love language is receiving gifts, so I'm looking for a winter bonus. Thank you.
Thank you.
And goodbye.
Give me money.
Yeah. I don't think many do that, but I think we're gonna start off with the Myers-Briggs because it's kind of one of the most well-known ones. We can pretty easily jump back in between.
a
But
good one.
how it works is you're assigned a certain like archetype, and it's split by letters. So it's 4 letters. The first one is extroverted or introverted. The second one is intuitive or observant. The third one is thinking or feeling. And the fourth one is judging or prospecting. So it gives you kind of breakdowns and percentages. And yeah, we can go one by one if we want to have our guest start out with what yours is.
Might as well.
And then I'll read your little description. We can
There you
discuss if
go.
we think it suits you or not.
Okay, all right. So I am an INFJ, which is introverted, intuitive, feeling, judging.
Awesome.
And I think you have the archetype.
Yeah, so the archetype for INFJ is the diplomat. And the really short, quick description of that is quiet and mystical, yet very inspiring and tirelessly idealists.
Cute.
Nice.
This is your little
The
person.
diplomat. I love
Yeah,
the
Fun
little
to see them.
person.
Oh
It looks
wow.
like he has a wizard
Oh, this is
wand.
your Word doc.
This is my word.
It does look
Yeah.
like it has. If I click on it, will it give me more
Am I a
information?
wizard?
Oh my gosh, it does. So, do you want me to read it? I
Yeah,
feel
go
like I
for
should.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
An advocate, INFJ, is someone with the introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging personality traits. They tend to approach life with deep thoughtfulness and imagination. Their inner vision, personal values, and a quiet, principled version of humanism guide them in all things.
Hmm.
Um, it's quite long.
Probably
I'm
just
not sure if
snippets.
I
I'm
should.
wondering what the best snippets are to read, and then we can read them for all of them. But
Yeah,
like
I'll
probably like
read.
the first bit, and then
I'll
if
read
there's
the
like a
first bit.
shorter one.
So I'll read like the first sentence in these and we'll see where it goes from there. But for seeking purpose, it says, perhaps because their personality type is so uncommon, advocates tend to carry around a sense, whether conscious or not, of being different from most people.
Do you feel like you're not like other girls?
Yes, I'm just
You're not like other
I'm
girls.
just different.
Special.
Different.
For connecting with others and themselves, the first sentence is advocates may be introverted, but they value deep, authentic relationships with others.
Nice.
Nice.
Few things bring these personalities as much joy as truly knowing another person and being known in return.
Aw.
I feel
feel
like
like
that's
that's
true.
sweet.
Yeah.
And then finally, a personal mission. Many advocates feel that their life has a unique purpose, a mission that they were put on this earth to fulfill. Do you feel that?
That seems deep, and
That's
like
really
no.
nice.
I feel like I felt that with like I want to move to Seattle, but that's it.
Okay.
But
We
like we
have-
made it to the location. But what?
So, Sarah, what is yours?
Okay. Mine, I saved all of mine in a Word doc because I was like, obviously, we have to be able to talk about this. So I thought it was really interesting because a while ago when I took the test, and I've been telling everyone since then, which is like maybe about 4 years, that I was an ENFJ. But I recently retook it for this podcast, and I am now an ESFP.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow.
That's pretty opposite.
I know. So I changed not one but two letters. But yeah, so I can share my little what were we calling it? Archetype?
Archetype.
Yeah.
I don't
My
know.
archetype is the entertainer. And then it has like this little gal with what are those called?
Maracas.
What was I trying to say?
I haven't-
Cucaracha.
La
cucaracha,
la cucaracha. Dun, dun, dun. Anyways, singing podcast. Okay, so it says entertainers are spontaneous, energetic, and enthusiastic people. Life is never boring around them, which really stroked my ego. What I thought was interesting, and I saved it in my little Word document, is that the two letters that switched for me was the intuitive versus observant. And it says here that I am only like just marginally more observant. So I'm about 52%. So it really
She's
could have
got 'em
been
both.
it could have been just one question that really
Probably.
switched that answer for me.
Can I just read one sentence that, like, I'm looking at your archetype also on here too?
Yeah, for sure.
If anyone is found to be spontaneously breaking into song and dance, it's the entertainer personality type.
That's so funny. Oops.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we just broke into song and dance. That's so funny.
I
We're
love it.
even
I love that.
Wow, amazing. But yeah, also with the prospecting versus judging, I'm only 51% prospecting,
Wow.
which really like a singular question or
Would've.
even like, the degree of like intensity
Yeah.
with which I answered a question. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I was pretty even all the way through. The only thing that I had like a slightly larger percentage of was the extroverted. I'm 66% extroverted.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too. But I thought it was weird because like I did answer a lot of the questions where it was like I like attention. And like if people are seeing me do cool things, like yay. So
Yay.
that makes sense for entertainer, but I didn't answer a lot of the questions where it's like I feel like a unique individual. like I didn't agree with those as much. There were so many of those.
That might have
Like
been a
other
different thing then.
girls.
Yeah, maybe it
just
had to
might
do
have
with
been.
like
I mean, I can read the other ones. I'll say mine, but then I'll read the other ones that we could have gotten, maybe.
okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Because yeah, maybe they just fall into two different distinct
Yeah.
categories.
I don't know. It just felt like an entertainer would have been like, I'm special and unique. Where like I
Our lights are not gonna fall.
did
There.
not answer that as positively. Anyways, I'm a little nervous. Let's learn about Kira's and hope that the lights
lights
don't
don't
hit
fall
us in the head.
There's a chance they'll fall. But
Very, very high
It's
likelihood.
never happened before.
not in this room, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was your side, though, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely was.
I'm sorry, you
Anyways,
guys. I
not
was
in
eating
here.
ramen while I was hanging the lights.
Slightly distracted.
Yeah.
But my personality type is the campaigner. So that's ENFP, which changed a lot. I think I can't remember. I took this a very long time ago as well, but I've obviously like aged and my personality I do think has changed.
Like a fine cheese.
Or wine.
Yeah.
like a blue smithy cheese.
Sarah.
A go, a go. What is that? What are those? What? A go. That's okay. I
Word.
was trying to think of the type of cheese that me and my family were arguing over.
Blue cheese.
Gorgonzola. Got it.
Gorgonzola.
Oh.
You like a
Like a gorgonzola. Let's keep going.
The bit is so over.
So tell me about what being a campaigner
I'm really
is.
trying to. Campaigners are enthusiastic, creative, and sociable free spirits who can always find a reason to smile. So it's 84% extroverted.
Dang.
That also makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
When I was younger, I thought I was an introvert. Like, I really wholeheartedly believed it, but I think it's also just like the little bubble that we were put in our little tiny small town that was like, you're kind of quiet and nerdy, so you're gonna be introverted. And I was like, I'm only quiet because you guys are so loud. But then I had 54% intuitive and 46% observant. So pretty close there.
Yeah.
49% thinking and 51% feeling. So again, right. And then also
She can do both.
49% judging and 51% prospecting.
Wow.
So it was, yeah,
Very close on those two.
Dang.
very, very close.
Interessante.
Interessante. But I can read a little bit more about the, oh my gosh, I already forgot, the campaigner, and what they do. So, oh no, I don't want to find my type. I just want to click on this. Why is it being difficult?
That's another note. A lot of these tests are just poor survey design.
Yeah,
Like-
really, really poor survey design.
One of them had the agree on the left-hand side and the disagree on the right-hand side, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm so
You've
confused.
obviously never taken any sort of class
Completely reversed.
in like how to design something so that it doesn't have unrealistic cognitive load.
Anyways, so the campaigner, or this archetype, are people who tend to embrace big ideas and actions that reflect their sense of hope and goodwill towards others. Their vibrant energy can flow in many directions. They're true free spirits, outgoing, open-hearted, and open-minded. Friendly and outgoing campaigners are devoted to enriching their relationships and their social lives, but beneath their sociable, easygoing exteriors, they have rich, vibrant inner lives as well. Without a healthy dose of imagination, creativity, and curiosity, a campaigner simply wouldn't be a campaigner.
I feel like I can see a lot of that in you as a person. I don't know. Well, because you've got creative and you got hobbies, but then also, like, you are very outgoing, you know? And, like, I feel of the people, I don't know, I feel like it makes a lot of sense that you're the most extroverted and you're the most introverted, and I'm somewhere in between. But
Well-
leaning a little bit more to the extroverted side.
Yeah, and I don't have the percentages because I didn't take it like
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
but I did take it recently enough to where I don't think it's changed. Like it
Yeah.
still makes sense to me.
Right.
So, I do remember I was like probably like 70% introverted, something like that. And then I can't remember for most of them, but like feeling and observing were also like super, super close.
Yeah.
And I think the other two were pretty set.
There you go.
But I don't have the percentages, but it was pretty close.
I was just shocked with how close all of mine were. They were like on
Like,
the
really
like
close.
1%.
She can do it
And I was
all.
like,
Well,
she can do it all.
and I feel like a lot of the ones that were close for us were the ones that are very like context based.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it kind of makes sense because
Depends
depending
on
on
the
the
situation.
right, and like the way that the question was kind of framed, you're like, oh yeah, like this would definitely be more of a feeling scenario versus thinking scenario, you know, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. But if we did want to look at the other types of personalities, I can just read them in their one sentence outline.
Sure.
Just for how it works is there are, I guess, 4 categories and then smaller roles within that. So it's analysts, diplomats, sentinels, and explorers. So Sarah is an explorer, and both Bella and I are diplomats, which is kind of interesting.
Interesting.
Kapow.
How about
Look at
that?
that! Look at that!
I wonder if there's some sort of like foil like compliment thing, you know,
that goes
where it's
together.
like me as a what was I explorer?
Entertainer.
I know, but like my
Explorer,
larger.
and then
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Do explorers
diplomats.
look for diplomats?
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's so
That makes
fair.
sense.
Find the
What-
opposite. I mean, ours,
Well, I mean,
yours
what?
used to be exactly complement with extrovert, and then the rest of our letters used to be the same, but now they've changed. So, like,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
How
It's
does that
interesting.
interact?
Interessante. I need to stop saying that because it's weird. But yeah, it is interesting.
And, I've decided I'm not gonna read all of these
I
because
think that
there's
sounds like a
lot.
good idea.
There's too
we
many.
do have
There's a lot.
more tests to get to, and the other
Exactly.
tests,
true.
you know, have some more fun sections within them.
Yes. So the next test that we are gonna go through is one that's a classic. We all know it. Maybe we love it. It is the Harry Potter sorting hat. And as someone who's never actually watched all of the Harry Potter movies or read all of the books, I've read some, very much not all, and seen some, very much not all. This is fun for me to look at every single time because I'm just like, what does this mean?
I have something to say. So, I am the slowest reader on this wonderful green planet. Famously so, bad at
She's really
finishing
good at
things.
math.
Thanks, buddy. That hurt a little bit. No, it's okay. I'm getting better at taking jokes. I am good at math, and I'm a slow reader. I'm slow as all get out. But I was like, Kiera, we should read the Harry Potter books
Okay,
together.
this was a joint thing. This wasn't just Sarah being like,
Okay, fine. So Kiera was like, Sarah, we should read the Harry Potter books together, and I was like, bet, let's do this. And guess who read more books than Kiera did? Me.
Yeah.
Which is wild because I'm the slow one. It was
Yeah, I
there's just
think
no
it's-
commitment.
It's because
Neither of
I
you
wasn't
finished
interested
No.
in the book. I simply wasn't. Like I've read
I
more
think you made it to the third one, right?
Yeah, I read
Wizards
the third.
and
And
Dragons.
I did. I think I made it halfway through the 6th.
I do like Wizards and Dragons too. Like fantasy and sci-fi books are like my bread and butter.
Yeah.
But the issue is
The
because the
YA
characters were
novels.
so young when I started reading it. Like when
That's
I
fair.
was a 18, 19-year-old, like reading from 11-year-olds POV, I was
Right.
like, this
It
is
doesn't even matter.
not the same. Yes,
Yeah.
I could technically read this really fast, but it's just it doesn't hold the same magic for me, which is
It's so
sad
fair.
in a lot of ways. But
It
you
is.
know what? I was unlucky with how the cards were dealt. No one read Harry
Yeah.
Potter to me. I didn't read it to myself as a kid.
That's okay.
That's how it be.
I don't think I read it until like 8th or 9th grade.
But you're
too.
still
So like
young
you,
and know.
yeah, but like I get what you're saying. Like they start off so young, and you're like, this is. I guess I'll get through it, but
Yeah. And reading it for the first time, like
Mhm.
it's harder to get in their
Mhm,
mind space.
definitely.
Yeah,
They're pretty
that's
big books too. They're
Yeah.
pretty big books.
Chunky. I will say that when I read them with Kiera, I was listening to them on tape.
Yeah.
So that
So she
also
wasn't actually
contributes.
reading.
I have them all on Audible if you guys
Hey.
want to listen to.
I also have them on my dad's Audible, so if you want to listen with Greg.
I'm good.
Anyways,
Thanks, Greg. Shout out to Greg.
One day, I will
Love that
get
guy.
really bored and listen to all of them.
That's fair. Regardless, all we need to know is that Kiera was a little confused about the whole Patronus situation.
Yeah, I was like, what is this glowing thing? I don't know. Oh no, the question disappeared. What am I supposed to do? But I think we should start with the houses.
Yes.
'Cause that's probably
Yeah,
the easiest
definitely.
thing and like the most.
I'm going to
know.
guess that you are a Ravenclaw,
Okay, should we all guess? You guess.
And you, I'm pretty sure, are a Hufflepuff.
Okay, I think Sarah's a Hufflepuff, and I think that I think there's a chance that Bella is a Ravenclaw or a Gryffindor. Also, like, this is completely unfounded. Honestly,
You're just guessing.
I have
You're just
no
throwing
idea.
words out there. You're like, there
Words,
was
words,
another
words.
one. What was the other?
right? Also, sorry for those who are listening only in an audio format. I said that Kiera was a Ravenclaw and Bella was a Hufflepuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I think Sarah's a Hufflepuff, and I also think Kiera's a Ravenclaw. I feel like that makes sense.
Right. That's what I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I
Yeah.
start?
Go
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
it. Do it.
So, when I took this the first time when I was little, I was a Ravenclaw.
Nice.
The last 2 times I've taken it, I've been a Hufflepuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cute. Join the Huffpuff Nation.
Well, okay, I was talking with Matthew, and I was like, I'm a Hufflepuff. And, well, he also thought I was a Ravenclaw, so I guess I just give that energy.
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But he's like, Hufflepuffs are, like, quirky, and I don't think you're that quirky.
That's like so funny.
Thanks, Matthew. But I'm like, I thought Hufflepuffs were just, like, nice. I thought that was, like, their only personality trait.
That is nice.
They're
In the movie.
Yeah.
they're disposable.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it seems like.
No, just kidding. No, they're nice and they're not like they're just kind of pure-hearted without being overly ambitious, overly
Yes.
book smart, like
They're just an average person.
yeah, but
They graduate.
in a really golden like pony boy kind of way.
Heartfelt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they make the best parents.
As parents. Sarah, I think you'd make an amazing grandmother.
Thank you. Well, okay.
I did say that
I would
last night.
True. Kira did say that. I would love to make an amazing girlfriend.
Anybody out in Seattle?
Sarah's
Yeah.
adverse to going on dates though sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta be cool.
Anti-dating, pro.
Being a girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't just come be my friend and then tell me you think I look pretty, and then I'll be like, oh, okay,
Wow.
you know, cool.
Yeah, so that means you're a Hufflepuff
I am a
too,
Hufflepuff.
right?
Yes,
Sarah is indeed
famously,
such a Hufflepuff.
famously a Hufflepuff. And you know, I like it. I'm in that space, and I am glad to be there.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
What are you?
So the first time I took the test, I was a Slytherin. So I was a Slytherin for a really long time. But most recently, I took the test and got Gryffindor.
Okay.
So
I was wrong.
I'm the main character.
Yeah.
I got it partially right. I was
You did.
actually gonna
You did.
say Slytherin because I feel like I just associate the color green with you.
I-
because plants.
Yes.
But that doesn't really mean that much.
No, but I would definitely agree, and I definitely still like feel it because it's like they're cunning and
Yeah.
like kind of, I don't know, mischievous and like weird, but I don't know,
Spooky.
spooky a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's also
There's a just witchy feeling
Yeah.
of the like people who use
but,
magic.
like yeah, and they live in the dungeon, like or whatever. I don't know.
Get in there.
they
I
have
would
the
be
strongest
so down.
vibes of
They have
of
strong vibes.
No, I
They do.
but
No, they're intense.
Yeah,
They are
exactly.
intense. So I've taken a step back from the intensity,
Like
and
can't
now,
they?
right.
It was too late. I'm sorry.
So right. I should have paused longer.
It's
I should
okay.
have given it to you.
I was trying to get in there. Intense. Like camping. Oh. We should get a laughing track button. So
Should I
someone
get you guys
laughs at
a
your
sound
jokes.
button? I'll get you guys a sound
That
button.
would
One
be
of you guys
so
can just.
funny.
It's gonna be Sarah. The whole podcast is
It's
just gonna
like
be.
a that was easy button, but it's just laughing.
But it's laughing.
That's so funny.
That's so funny. But
Okay.
yeah, no, I'm a Gryffindor now.
Wow.
I know.
Nice. Getting out
So,
there. Cool.
Golden child.
Well, you can save me and Kiera from utter peril.
I will.
We can.
I'm just
What
so
do-
brave.
We'll give you a really big
we
hug.
can die. Like that's all that any Hufflepuff does in the movie that I remember. I've only seen the first and the fourth movie, I think. And in the fourth movie, spoiler, a Hufflepuff
Someone dies.
We also probably give really good hugs.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I don't know.
People love us.
We've been struggling with the hug situation.
Yeah, okay.
Big poll for the chat.
Yeah, this is really important.
Do you hug to the right first or to the left first?
Because Kiera was trying to make this argument. Personally, I try and go for that left, you know? I'm in there. And Kiera was like, no, I need to hug on the right because I'm right-handed. And I was like, how does hand...
I do everything with my right hand. You know, I write with my right hand, I brush my teeth with my right hand, I probably step forward with my right leg before my left leg. And so why wouldn't I hug on the right side? Like, I get my logic, I don't really get yours.
To be fair,
Kira's logic is sound. It is there and concrete.
I don't have a lot of logic. I just have a lifetime of experiences that I'm culminating
Sarah has
together.
hugged a lot of people.
I've hugged so many people. It's because I'm a Hufflepuff, clearly.
I'm also a Hufflepuff.
That's not important right now. Just kidding.
Sarah just really wants to be right, and I truly don't think...
Can't do it.
We're gonna put it in the poll. Do you hug with your head going to the left or to the right of your own body? Like to your own left
Yeah.
or to your own right? Let us know if you are, correct and intelligent or hug to the right.
Basically, just go hug a loved one. Happy
Anyways.
holidays.
What's our next
We
test?
trust you.
Sarah's just gonna die on this hill. Our next test is the Enneagram. So the Enneagram sorts you by a specific number that they then associate to a certain archetype as well. Also, I scrolled accidentally to the top of my photos, and I have like 20,000 photos. Interesting.
Oh my god, can I say
Interesting.
one more thing on the Harry Potter thing?
Sure.
I took the Patronus quiz, and my Patronus, Bella guessed it, because I had a very large reaction, so that might have had part of why she could
But
guess
also,
it.
it really does make sense, and I have thought about it so many times.
Was it like
yay.
Yeah.
a rabbit?
Yeah.
It was a hair.
It was a brown hair,
The hair.
Wow.
which is just like,
Could you imagine if that
amazing.
hair knew how to drive a van?
oh my god.
Wow, it would just be Sarah in like a glowing animal form.
Me being like, what is it?
Expecto
Patronum! And then it's just like a bunny driving a 15-passenger van. It's
I'm
like,
thinking-
boop, boop, boop,
Yep.
boop, boop. All the Dementors are like,
Well, with all of the baby rabbits. Just like 55 in the back.
Multiplying like rabbits.
that was all.
That was all. Let's talk about the Enneagram test then.
Amazing.
So,
you
how
wanna
it works.
Go through the numbers too?
Yes.
Because I also, okay.
I will go
cool.
through the numbers.
I had like, it had like the by the full report thing.
Yeah,
And
we're
I
not-
was like, I don't want to, so I just like took a
Don't worry.
screenshot and like,
I
I don't know what any of it means.
Don't you worry. I
Perfect.
did extra prep because
Amazing. Thanks, Kira.
Kira's leading this episode, so it is on the race.
Kira always preps.
Kira is an advocate. No.
You're the I'm an advocate.
Kira's a
Campaigner.
campaigner. Kira's campaign is to... What are you
What?
looking at?
You said campaigner. Oh, we're talking about the other one.
I know. I was trying to use our formerly talked about personality things to say that you prep.
Okay.
And you
Thanks.
prep good.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm like on one track mind right now. My bad.
It's because you're a campaigner.
Okay. Anyways, let's read about this. The Enneagram is a system of personality which describes people in terms of 9 types. These 9 types are as follows. So, Enneagram Type 1 is the perfectionist. Ones place a lot of emphasis on following the rules and doing things correctly. Type 1s fear being imperfect and can be extremely strict with themselves and others. Enneagram Type 2, the giver. 2s want to be liked and find ways that they can be helpful to others so that they belong. This type fears being unlovable. Enneagram type 3, the achiever. 3s want to be successful and admired by other people and are very conscious of their public image. Type 3s fear failure and not being seen as valuable by other people. Enneagram type 4, the individualist. 4s want to be unique and to experience deep, authentic emotions. Type 4s fear they are flawed and are overly focused on how they are different from other people.
Can you imagine getting that one and being like, oh dang.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I was so afraid of being
Some of these
weird.
are really harsh.
Yeah,
Some are kind of harsh.
tough. If you're type 4 out there, we love you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
Enneagram type 5, the investigator. 5 seeks understanding and knowledge and are more comfortable with data than other people. The biggest fear of the type 5 is being overwhelmed by their own needs or the needs of other people. Type 6, the skeptic. 6s are preoccupied with security, seek safety, and like to be prepared for problems. For the type 6, the greatest fear is being unprepared and unable to defend themselves from danger. Type 7.
Also, just an odd type for a person to be
Yeah.
in
Just
like modern days. I don't know. Like,
feels more
I guess
survival.
I'm making
Generalizations.
That's fair.
I guess
Mine and
there's
Sarah's are both really, really low.
we're
for
really low on the 6, so I'm like, how would
We
you
don't
do
care
it? What
about
is your 6?
security.
Do you have a? Oh, Kiera has a chunky part on the 6.
Kira has 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, I'm
Okay.
gonna keep reading these now.
Go off. Yeah.
The type 7. Okay, wait, starting over. Type 7 is the enthusiast. 7s want to have as much fun and adventure as possible and are easily bored. Type 7s fear experiencing emotional pain, especially sadness, and actively seek to avoid it by staying busy. Type 8 is the challenger. 8s see themselves as strong and powerful and seek to stand up for what they believe in. The greatest fear for the type 8 is to be powerless, so they focus on controlling their environment. And finally, type 9, the peacemaker. 9s like to go with the flow and let the people around them set the agenda. Type 9s fear pushing people away by prioritizing their own needs, and they need to be passive. So,
Fun.
that's what it is.
Okay. Let's compare these
You should start first, Sarah.
pie charts. Yeah, for sure. I think
Tell us
that
about
it would
pie.
be kind of fun to share these pie charts on the Insta later if you're not too weird about that, maybe. I don't know. It could be fun. Okay, so I have one really large type that my little graph thing is skewed towards, and that is the achiever.
Mine's
So
also
that's a
the
type
achiever.
3. Yeah.
I am also very high achiever.
We're all
And
very
enthusiast.
very
Enthusiast
big.
is really high for all of us.
Achievers and enthusiasts, and pretty decently high challenger, or type 8.
Yeah.
You had a different
So how
word
it
for
works is this is from the same website, so I'm not sure. But how it works is that your top one is your like prime, I think, or like your first, and then your wing whatever is your smaller one. So for you, you'd be like the achiever with a wing of enthusiast or whatever.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. It's kind of nifty because I feel like we're very similar in a lot of ways, except for Bella and I are extremely low, like we
On
said,
6,
in the type 6, whereas Kiera has a pretty hefty little wedge
I
going
would
on there.
say it's like it's tied with a lot of them. I think it's tied for 3rd place with 2 other categories.
Yeah.
That's how I'm reading this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I
So
just
wait,
think
are
it's
we all
interesting.
type 3s?
I think we are.
My type 3 is really close with
your
8.
type 8.
So, but I
Okay.
think pretty close because I've got 3 with wing 2 or helper, and then
Helper too.
8 and 7 are both really big chunks
Yeah.
on mine. How are
Yeah.
your 4s?
4?
My 4 is pretty
really
low.
small.
Yeah.
Mine's very,
Yeah.
very small.
We've all got
Individualist.
pretty...
None of us are really concerned with being unique or
We don't
not fitting in with
care.
society.
We do what
We really are
want.
not like other girls.
we really
feel
just do what we
basic.
My 9 is also really low.
What is the 9 again? Oh, peacemaker.
want. My 9 and my 1 are even.
1 is
And
somewhat
About the same size as 5, even?
I wish that had a percentage breakdown. I
I
feel
do
like that
too.
would help me more than the visuals are helping
Just
me.
like I said,
Even though this is the
core
prettiest,
report,
prettiest pie chart.
Core survey
core survey design,
management.
report making.
Yeah, so we all get to be type 3s, which is pretty cute. Unless
Yeah.
you're
I
very,
think
quite possibly a type 8.
I'm pretty sure I'm type 8, but like just barely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where it's like 8, 3, 2, 7. They're all kind of
Yeah.
just the same.
Like I said, it might be a lot more entertaining for people to look at our charts
And
than
then
listen to us say
talk about
number.
Well, I can read a little bit more about type 3s, and then I can go into type 8s, but a little bit more about it. No?
Yeah, no, go for it. It's a good idea.
Okay. 3s are defined by their desire to achieve. They want to advance in the world and will sacrifice almost anything for success, vigorously pursuing tasks and becoming utterly absorbed in the pursuit of attainment. And then, of course, it cuts off because there's a paywall. But then the half sentence is, but they will only choose a task in the first place if it... And then it cuts off.
Oh,
Isn't yeah, it cuts off.
We'll never know why we choose tasks.
Yeah.
well, we could
Ding
just
ding.
look.
Yeah, I don't know. I am definitely motivated by success, and achievement. I would say. I think I want to feel as if I am improving myself in a lot of instances, and I want to feel like I have some measure of that improvement, and that makes sense with the achiever personality type.
Yeah.
That
Type
is so
3s
fair.
distinguish themselves through productivity and success, but they still value relationships. They are confident and put together with a winning charisma that often draws others to them.
Well, I mean, this isn't a winning charisma. I don't know what is. Ugh. Okay.
Wow, it really goes into it. I won't go in depth right now, but I will read type 8, or a little bit more about type 8.
You should do 2, 7, and 8. Because I think all 3 of us are really high. Or
Yeah.
Yeah. And mine are like almost a 4-way tie
Why?
with those. It's weird, and I really do kind of want the percentage breakdown.
2 is high for me.
Yeah.
7 is high for me. 8 is also high. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we're all kind of doing that too.
Let's check out
So-
2, 7, and 8.
The type 8 is referred to as the challenger of the Enneagram system because they are not afraid to buck societal rules in the pursuit of justice. They believe it is their job to combat oppression and stand up for those weaker than themselves. Type 8s make strong leaders who are assertive, goal-oriented, and resilient.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty
All
good.
good stuff there.
Quite a way to be.
I feel assertive
And then
when I feel like it's necessary.
I think I can be assertive, especially if others aren't.
Yeah,
Like, if in
100%.
absence of assertiveness, I will do that. But I don't think in a group of assertive people, I would necessarily be the most assertive.
No.
I don't feel
yeah.
generally like I would be assertive around the two of you. If that makes sense.
Because
So
we're
fair.
all, yeah.
You know?
So fair.
Yeah.
But moving on
Nice.
to type 7, the enthusiast, is relentlessly curious and optimistic, eager to get the most out of life. 7s do their best to avoid negativity and pain, focusing their energy on finding pleasure and excitement. 7s get along well with others at work and at home because they are highly productive, non-judgmental, and have an infectious positive energy.
Nice.
We're all infectious.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
positive.
and positive.
Well, and to be fair, I don't think I've had an instance where like I really don't get along with someone at work.
Yeah.
So fair.
You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty sly.
I definitely have before.
There's been people I don't get along with at work, but it's not like we can't at least be civil.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
I can
fair.
always find a way to live with them.
Yeah.
I've also worked with a lot of people.
That's true. That's true. Run the gamut.
But finally, type 2, the giver. The type 2 Enneagram is the giver, is helpful, nurturing, and caring towards others. Because they want to be loved by others, they will rarely say no when asked for help and will often put others' needs before their own. 2s are empathetic and encouraging, finding great joy in supporting others. So that's actually surprisingly high for me, I feel like.
I see that the most in you, Bella.
Yeah, I do too.
I
She's
would
a
say.
provider.
I feel like I see it less in myself,
And it is
than
low for
in
you.
you guys, and it is much lower.
Mine, yeah. 2 and 3 are like right next to each other.
Yeah.
You're
They're pretty big.
You're a caregiver.
It's
I definitely care, but I'm less of a, like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Giver.
I'm less demonstrative in that care,
That's so fair.
and I act on it less.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still no.
So
I care.
So no. So she doesn't really care.
I care. I just
She
don't
cares in different ways.
do anything about it.
The care
Okay.
is there in the back of your mind.
But I think also the last one that we'll do for this,
You don't even correct it. You're just
Yeah.
like,
Sarah is not trying to combat it. But the last thing we'll do on this is what we had all of our lowest in, which was type 4, I think.
Oh.
But type 4 is the individualist, and they have a reckless drive for authenticity. They want to be seen, accepted for who they are, and expressing themselves through creativity is key to their well-being. 4s connect deeply with their emotions, making them compassionate, original thinkers who are not biased by the expectations of others.
Yeah, I just don't feel like any of us is horribly preoccupied with being authentic.
I don't think any of us
I think you
care enough. Really.
I think a lot of things with these personality tests is they're all how you view yourself, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily how the world views you, or honestly, they might not even really be how you are, because how you perceive yourself is different.
Completely different. Yeah.
But I think it would make sense to me that a lot of people score low on this because you're not thinking about how authentic you are to yourself. You just simply are that way.
So fair.
So I would
Deep cut.
deep cut. I'm just guessing. I'm just spitballing out here.
Yeah, it's fair. It's like what am I trying to say? The bias, something bias, where it's like you're gonna try and spin yourself to sound as positive a human being as
Yeah.
you can.
The way that questions like that, where it's like very morally dubious to answer one way or the other, they may like answer that question differently than how they like would vote on something that may you know lead to like persecution of that in like a similar way, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to seem like I'm a really good person and have nice opinions, but also I'm going to go over here and maybe demonstrate those opinions in a different way. That's completely contradictory.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty fun stuff. Pretty fun stuff.
I think so. Next test?
Yeah, we're
let's
closing the door on Enneagram. I like that one visually. I think I'll have to read a little bit more about all of them to really get into it. But now we have all the results, and we can dig in.
And I really do want percentages.
It's
like kind of annoying because like how big is the ledge? How many percentages?
Yeah.
It's probably different engineer it to like figure out the angles. But we should go to the top 5 test. The big 5?
High five.
This is the Clifton Strengths knockoff. So a little bit more business oriented, but also definitely still like, you know, you are this, and that means that you're going to be good at this sort of talk.
Possibly the longest test.
Oh my gosh.
It was like 120
questions. Yeah. Well, and a lot of the questions for this one felt like very repetitive.
It was a lot of the same thing.
But I think they do that often in tests to see if you're going to answer repeatedly the same way. Because a lot of times the first gut reaction you have might not be accurate. I don't know if that makes it any more accurate, but it was a lot of questions.
Well, and I was telling Bella that in my experience with you know social scientific surveys and things like that, you have like a couple different similar statements that are still getting at the same main idea of your measure, and then like you can take those statements and then compare how people answer them and see how like
consistently people are answering them and choose whether or not to keep, whether you want to have like 5 statements or 4 statements that are measured. Yeah, and how people answer. So I guess they just didn't want to do that and kept all of the statements everywhere.
Or maybe they did do it and found that people were answering slightly differently for each statement and that they should have all of them there. Who's to say? Really?
But we should go to what are... Should we do like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, or should we have someone do all?
Let's do 1, 1, 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe some of them will kind of overlap too. So I think that's gonna happen.
That makes sense. Okay, so what is everyone's number 1?
I can start.
Okay.
It's always hard to figure out.
I was trying to figure out where it was. I thought it was starting at 2, and I was like, there's no way this is happening again.
Okay, so for my number 1, I have philomath. So it says, philomaths love learning. They explore many interests, follow new paths, and acquire as much knowledge as possible. They don't enjoy the company of so-called know-it-alls people with little curiosity and no desire to explore new ideas. So I don't like people like that.
So philomath is my number 5.
And philomath is my number 2.
So none of us like know-it-alls, so if you feel like you know a lot of things, get out.
You probably don't.
You probably don't. I love that. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And we all love learning, so I don't know, I feel like I see that in a lot of us.
We're all definitely like lifelong learner types, constantly wanting different and new learning activities.
And I think that's like with experience too. Learning and experience in my mind go hand in hand. Like I like new experiences, and new experiences often mean learning things.
Yep. And I like that curiosity bit of it too, because I feel like staying curious and staying open are like coming in
Big
hand
ones,
in hand,
big ones. Yeah.
Where it's like I wanna know people who are willing to listen and willing to learn about things, but then also about me.
Yeah.
She is the entertainer.
I am.
She entertains.
So self-absorbed. What? No, that's not what it is. That's not right.
But anyways, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is focus expert.
Oh.
Focus experts enjoy getting a project straight to the finish line rather than changing directions regularly. They focus on one thing at a time and dislike any distractions. So,
I do not have that on my list anywhere.
if you have ever been around me and there has been any television or movie screen playing anything,
The funniest thing.
she can only do one thing.
It is one thing. There have been so many times where there is like multiple sentences are said, and I'm looking at her, and she looks over at me and goes, "Were you talking to me?"
Yeah, but it's not even like, were you talking like concerned? It's like,
What?
huh?
What do you want?
Face.
I'm watching a show right now. What?
Yeah, Sarah.
Then we're
busy.
like, okay, sorry, hold on, let's pause it then.
Yeah, Sarah can very much do one thing at a time. But very well.
Yeah, right, exactly.
100%.
and
She's
like-
a focus expert.
I'm really good at focusing.
She's so good at it.
And I will say that, like, most of the times that people see it in my everyday life, it's not, like, super useful.
But it's useful for other things, for sure. Like learning,
Yeah.
like completing things.
Exactly.
Sewing projects
I
just
can-
get done.
Yeah, no, I'm very good at zeroing in, and I feel like that helps me, in some instances, and in others, it's like, sometimes I just don't hear anything, and that's okay. So, yay me. What's your number 1? What?
My number 1 is empathizer, which is in the feeling domain. I don't know if we're saying the domains or not,
Oh.
but I also did see that, and I was kind of like,
No, I don't know.
Mine's,
doesn't seem that important.
I can't remember.
That's okay.
But the brief definition is empathizers are great at understanding how people feel and use this sensibly to do good for others. They become frustrated when asked to disregard feelings and focus solely on logic instead. So,
Do you feel
That's
like
my number one.
Wait, what was the last sentence? So sorry. I'm so sorry. Kiera
She was focused in on something else.
Kira's looking at the different kinds to see what our
And she
different
didn't
kinds
hear
were,
the
and I did
sentence.
not hear the final sentence. You don't
Here.
like it when I tell you to think of things logically? Yes.
Solely on logic.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Were you reading the brief description or the full description?
The brief description.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Solely on logic.
Nice.
Yeah. You have a natural ability to step into another person's shoes, even if you don't agree with their feelings or perspective.
Nice.
I feel like that's very
So-
true for you.
Yeah.
I think that
I
makes
would
a lot of
definitely
sense.
agree.
You're
I
a
would
highly
definitely
empathetic
agree.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe the 120 questions
Maybe
were
they
right.
were important.
Maybe.
It was, they really pushed it.
Yeah. Do you want to share your number 2, Bella? And we can just ping pong this way again.
Yeah, I think that's
Well, you've also got the empathizer.
I do have
So
the
which
empathizer.
which number is that one?
Oh yes. The empathizer's number 2. Sorry, it's funny because I read it and I was like, yes, I'm ready to read this. But
then I read it and then you
Right.
couldn't hear it.
No, it's
Right.
so true. I'm so sorry. So Bella, your number 1 is also my number 2, which is pretty fun.
Okay.
Empathizer is not one of mine.
Interesting. Kira doesn't know how we feel.
Or I just don't care.
I think it's the No, which is also probably arguably the easier way to live.
Yeah, it's so funny because every now and then, Kira, and maybe this is something you did in high school too, or maybe you just hit it better, but every now and then you'll look at me and you'll be like, why are you so dramatic? You won't say those words, but your eyes will do it. Where you're like, you're gonna be fine. Calm down. And I'm like, I'm going through a moment right now. Can you just let me?
Whereas I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
So much.
Thanks. It's
I
a
think-
small thing and I am overreacting, but thank you.
No, I think I do recognize why you're feeling that way. Not just you, but just people in general, because I am a human that also have those emotions.
Yeah.
Shockingly.
Here's
But
human.
I have a lot more of I
Information.
know it's gonna
For
be
your
okay because I went through it and I got to the other side, so I think it's gonna be okay.
Right.
And I think a lot of people need to wallow and feel, and sometimes I'm like, I just need to push through, and that's just a different way of perceiving and being
Yeah.
at the root of stuff.
Yeah. Experiencing those
Yeah.
emotions and getting through them in a different way.
And the way sometimes I empathize, I'm like, you're gonna get through it. You're gonna be okay. It's gonna be over. You're not gonna have to worry about it. Whereas other people are like, oh my gosh,
Let's
you're
feel
let's
this.
feel. And I'm like, getting over it. So
Yeah. Let's
know.
move on.
I
know
want
how
you
that is.
to get through your emotions, but still feel them a little bit, but also you're gonna be okay. Let's
Right.
wrap it up a
Right.
little bit.
Fair.
30 seconds, done.
Bella will give you 30 seconds. I'll give you 5.
I'll give you a second, depending on the situation.
We can just cry it out if you want.
If you need to, go somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your number 2?
Okay. Mine was philomath.
Oh,
So
right.
my number 2 is
Oh my
philomath.
gosh,
Yours is
wow.
empathizer.
So what's your number 2?
Kira's?
My number 2 is catalyst.
Oh.
Catalysts love to get things started and are great at creating momentum in stagnant environments. They have had a hard time waiting and so-called wasting time when they know they could be moving forward and getting things off the ground.
Wow. Can we talk about Kiera's group project that she was in?
No, we can't.
We aren't going to talk about it, but at the same time, that's 110% what happened. Kiera's a starter. She's a starter, and she's not going to sit around.
And a finisher, to be fair.
It's so true. It's not. Kiera runs. She runs that race. Okay? She starts. She's in there in the middle. She's
She
grinding
goes,
it out. and
she finishes it.
Yeah.
She finishes
does.
it.
No, but really, you're not going to sit around grinding your gears. And also, same thing with this podcast. I will totally talk about doing something for ages. Kira's like, we're going to get this, started. We're going to do it.
We're
And
gonna do
now
it
it's
now.
happening right now.
And now we're talking on camera.
Poof. And you're listening, which, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. What are our number 3s? Do I start? Want the ping pong it?
I also had Catalyst for number 5.
Oh, number 5.
What color, what domain is that?
Motivating.
I don't
So,
have a single motivating
You're not very
domain.
motivating.
I'm not. I don't really care about other people
doing things.
You know, I don't have a single feeling thing.
Weird. What color is feeling?
Yellow.
Yellow. I have 2 yellows.
I have 2.
I'm the most yellow.
I have 2 motivate. Or no.
All yellow.
Oh well. I have 2 thinking categories, 2 doing categories,
Me
and
too.
1 motivating category.
I have 1 doing, 2 feeling, and 2 thinking.
Okay.
Kind of fun.
So
1 feeling, 2 thinking, 1 doing, 1 motivating.
oh
Do you
yeah,
really
you're
do?
spread out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
I have
neat.
2 thinking.
Oh, 2 thinking.
Yeah,
2
Got it.
thinking.
Okay.
So
Cute.
for number 3, the one that I have, because
Yeah.
I think ours might be the same. Like, or no, it's not. Okay. Well, I'll just start still. But for number 3, I have deliverer. Deliverers follow through on their commitments and appreciate seeing how this builds more trust and respect among others. They feel terrible if promises get broken, both on the receiving and giving side.
I feel like I see that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's definitely like, if you say that you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it.
It's
even
gonna
if it
happen.
like physically is, you know, very taxing on you, or mentally like
Draining.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Kira's like, I said I was gonna do this, I'm gonna do it. You know?
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think that goes hand in hand with the catalyst, honestly.
Mhm.
I think they overlap a lot.
Yeah.
Contribute to one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
your number
I feel
3?
it. My number 3 is optimist. So the description for it is optimists enjoy praising the good in people and are grateful for what they have. They find it difficult to be around those who constantly focus on the negative.
I think that's very accurate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of these questions, it's like, it feels like it's very leading, where it's like, do you see the best in life? And I'm like,
Do you like it? Do you like it when people are happy?
yeah.
It's also like, yeah, it's almost like you wouldn't ever say no to that question.
Right.
It's like a
Right.
baseline.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, and it's like I do enjoy praising people for the things that they've done. You know.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna tell you that you did a great job. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fair.
Okay. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is thinking. Thinkers enjoy mental activity, intellectual discussions, and time alone in reflection.
Yeah.
They find it difficult to work in teams that tend to act before thinking.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You do the most reflection of anyone I know.
I do a lot of thinking, like, all the time.
Yeah. Well, and there was a time in our friendship where we didn't really talk for a while, and then we talked a lot for like a maybe 2 to 3 week space last year in the fall-ish. And I was like, wow, Bella's like processing and thinking through
So many things all the time.
and it's like one of those
It's hard to keep up
conversations
with.
where you're like, I'm not entirely sure where we started. I'm not entirely sure what happened in the middle, and I'm still a little unsure as to where we are now.
Yeah.
But we've covered a lot of ground. We've
like,
been moving.
Could you imagine if I could, like, talk and write at the, like, speed at which I think? Like, so much would get done.
So
and that
many
I
things.
can't.
Right.
It's, like, so impossible. And then I sit down and it's, like, suddenly everything's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, you got a lot of thoughts, which
A lot
it does make you a
profound.
very fun, like deep
Conversationalist.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself a good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you.
But it's also
That's why we
like,
wanted you on the podcast.
literally.
That's why I'm
literally.
enjoying being here.
Thank you for coming. But no, it's also one of those things where it's like, Bella, I cannot talk to you because it's already 10:30, and if we start talking, I don't
You're
know how long
never
it's gonna
gonna-
go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, I'm sorry, I need to walk away. But yeah, no. I will also say that thinker was my 4.
Nice.
Mhm.
There you go.
Mhm.
Segue.
Yeah, good one. What is your number 4, Bella?
My number 4 is problem solver, which is
Ooh.
my doing category.
That's my number 5. But,
Nice.
But please read. Please
Okay,
read aloud.
so the problem solver loves uncovering flaws, diagnosing problems, and coming up with solutions. It is difficult for them to simply sweep unresolved issues under the rug and keep going as if everything is fine. Yeah.
Which is
yeah, Bella and I are not sweepers.
We're not gonna let it disappear.
Yeah.
It's gonna get fixed.
Because those kind of things, I feel like they just nip at me. Like,
I'll be thinking about it too long.
Exactly.
I'll be thinking about it too long. Or anything that's like, I feel like both of us have this with like cleaning too, where it's like, this is happening now. Everything's going.
Yeah.
This is all getting cleaned and all of the things.
I like things being, like, feeling like they're complete. Like,
Done.
everything feeling resolved.
It's
I don't like
done.
leaving an open door sometimes.
That's
If
so
I
fun.
know there's not going to be any reason for keeping it open. Like,
That's so
if you're
fair.
keeping a door open because there's going to be growth, great. But if you're keeping a door open because...
Just to keep it open?
Yeah.
No
Finish
reason
it up,
for it.
tie it in a bow, and call it a
Call
day.
it.
We're not paying to air condition the outside.
I don't know. Because you're keeping the door open. No, that's okay.
When the button would.
It's whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah.
should have. Yeah, it's okay. Whatever. I thought
Okay,
it
the
was,
joke
I'm
is
sorry.
okay.
I'm so
I thought
sorry.
it was funny. No, it's fine. I also think it's funny because I feel like a lot of the questions that would have led you guys toward that strength, I answered in the complete opposite.
Probably.
You know?
Most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Which is kind of fun. Kind of fun. I wish that we did have slightly more information. I want like the micro.
We can definitely get into that just for the sake of this podcast and finishing this episode. Like,
No, that's
together
fair.
we can do it.
Well, and we have to pay more to get the full report.
We can get much more detail than this, though. I'll show you.
Well, we've got the full
Yeah.
definition, which is just like, it looks like the two sentences in the form of a paragraph instead.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Like, it's not that much more.
It's a bit more.
Okay. Anyways, it doesn't
But
really matter.
anyways, my number 4 is strategist. So strategists look at the big picture, which enables them to easily find the best way out of the clutter. Because connecting the dots comes naturally to them, they may get impatient with people who make slower decisions. Which is interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like I overthink things a lot, and sometimes that makes it hard for me to come to a decision. But maybe I become very efficient with the overthinking process.
Oh. That's so funny.
We found a way to just push through,
No,
delegate the overthinking to other
That's
parts
so
of our brain.
I overthink everything. Just like, I can't believe thinker was not part of my.
Yeah.
I guess thinker is a little bit more like solitude. Maybe I just speak it out loud.
Introspective.
I think things through much
Yeah.
more like deeply.
I definitely think things all the time very deeply, but sometimes just you have to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's not introspective.
Hey, there you go. No, that's super fair. Well, and I don't like when you were saying the whole like get frustrated with people who make decisions quickly or not quickly. I don't see that in you very much.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see why that was pushed towards you.
Yeah. We'll have to do a little debrief over here.
We might. Yeah, it's interesting where the paywalls are and where the paywalls aren't.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I really enjoyed this one. Perhaps one of these days I'll get a big girl job and I'll get to take the actual Clifton strengths.
Yeah.
At my university, if you took a business class, you got to take it for free.
Oh, that's nice.
I know, right?
Should have been a business
Like,
major.
look at all those business people. And it was also weird because like that was a like ritualistic, like you find out someone's a business major and then you're like, what are your Clifton strengths? And then they're like, these are mine, and then you just have to like sit there not being a business major.
Right.
And be like,
so
can't.
awkward.
Sorry, I have a job where I actually am learning things.
Sorry.
That probably won't get me any money in the future, but feel more academic.
Yeah.
Probably. You know? Ugh, gross.
Also, all of the frat boys at my school were business majors. Like, I literally sat at a table one time with, don't ask me why, but I was surrounded by frat bros, and I was just like,
so pretty.
I was,
Because he's just so pretty.
I was just around them.
Gorgeous girls.
And it was like, we were trying to all talk and mingle and whatever. I was like, oh, so what's your major? And they're like, oh, business. I'm like, oh, cool. Mine is like sustainable design. Like, what about you? Oh, business. Oh, cool. Like, you? Business. Oh, yeah. Are you
Coming out
business
the
as
walls.
well? Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, everyone at this table is business. And mind you, there were like 7 guys here.
my
and I
gosh.
was like, okay.
This is a lot.
So I feel like it's really hard sometimes because business, you have the high end that are actually doing something, and then the low end who are just like, business was here.
Yep.
They're going to college and business
That's
was
fair.
the easiest major to choose.
And that's
fair.
okay. That's okay.
If we're stereotyping, business, frat boys, communication studies, athletes that don't want to do school.
You know?
And
that's...
but
Sometimes
there
you
are
have different
also
priorities.
So cool.
smart people
Yeah.
in every major. Case in point. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, to the last set of tests that we're going to talk about, personality tests. We're going to end with a fun one that's more about our love languages. So, yeah, that's the typical one. We actually did a different test, though, that has 7 categories to change it up a little bit. And I'll read a quick summary of what this is. But the 7 love styles, the concept of love languages was created by marriage counselor Dr. Gary Chapman in the 1980s to explain how people have different ways of showing love and why couples may sometimes fail to connect even when they are making an effort to being loving towards one another. So the 7 categories that we have are activity, appreciation, emotional, financial, intellectual, physical, and practical. So these are the love styles, and maybe we should just go through the top ones and read the top ones
Yeah.
first.
I like it.
Does someone want to go first?
I got mine pulled up.
Pulled up?
My top one with a question mark score of 67.
Yeah, I don't know how the numbers
I don't-
are equated.
It's not 100, so whatever that means, is emotional. So my top one is... What's happening?
We're just realizing that we have the exact same score for our top one, which is activity.
Kiera and I have 78
You guys like
Yeah,
for
activities.
activity.
Mine
Yeah,
is
we do.
67.
67
So that's
for
interesting.
activity.
No, for emotional.
I also have 67 for
Interesting.
emotional. But it's my second one.
Wow.
I do not have a very high score for emotional.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
So I do have your emotional love style. As a person with an emotional love style, you feel loved when your partner is able to support you through emotions. You feel loved when you receive caring support during emotional, challenging, or vulnerable times. So,
I can read the activity love style.
Sure.
People with the activity love style feel special and valued when their partner takes an interest in their hobbies and interests and makes an effort to enjoy activities together. People with activity as their dominant love style seek a partner who has a similar lifestyle as them and enjoys participating in their hobbies and interests. A little repetitive. This type is also likely to absorb their partner's interests and eagerly discover and share in activities that they both enjoy. What's your activity?
44. It's my second one.
Okay.
It's my second one, but it's at 44.
Wow, I think ours are a lot higher. So our number 1 is activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty interesting. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is intellectual.
Interesting. My number 2 is emotional.
There you
Tied with
go.
Bella, 67.
So me and
There you
Kira's are flipped. 1 and 2.
Interesting.
And then intellectual is number 3 for me.
My number 3 was practical with 34.
Ah.
Wow.
My number 3 was appreciation.
So should I read intellectual, practical, and appreciation?
Sure.
Or should we just go down the list of our other?
We can do an intellectual if you want.
Okay, yeah, let's do intellectual. Intellectual because that was your number 2. And it's somewhere.
My intellectual was like second to last at 22.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
I just kind of want to know what it is. That's why.
Yeah, no, we'll do it. We'll do it. I'm gonna have a lot of editing
Probably.
It's insane.
We were doing good at the beginning.
Yeah, we were. Anyways, so intellectual. People with the intellectual love style like to connect through the mind. They feel loved when their partner values their intelligence, respects their opinion, and takes part in thoughtful discussion of important issues. While the intellectual love style includes a desire to spend quality time together, it focuses more specifically on a meeting of minds and valuing each other's intelligence.
Yeah. If someone values my opinion, I feel very appreciated.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the most interesting thing to do next would be to read what our lowest one is collectively. Yeah. And I feel like mine is.
So,
Yeah.
I have 2 lowest ones that are 0. Which, okay, I do think that this is interesting to know that all of these questions were framed in one of 2 ways. So, one was your partner has X happen, what are you most likely to do? And then the other way that they could have been framed was if you're feeling this, what could your partner do that would help you the most or feel you the most appreciated or make you feel the best about your relationship? And so I have 2 that are completely 0, one of which is financial, which I don't feel like I have a lot of money right now. And so I'm not likely to tell my partner I'm gonna buy them blah 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 blah. Because I just practically wouldn't do that. I just don't have the money to do it.
It makes sense. Segue to the second one that's lowest.
Practical, which I can't really remember much about what practical was.
I don't think we talked about it.
I can look at it,
Okay.
yeah. For practical, we have people with a practical love style feel special and valued when their partner takes care of the chores, pitches in with the household, and offers practical everyday help to lighten the load. Rather than just helping out with the chores, the practical love style isn't about going above and beyond with practical help. Is about going above and beyond with practical help and doing the things that are unexpected and specifically for the benefit of your partner.
Yeah, anything that was I'm gonna do more chores, I was like, no.
No. Next.
So
Sarah's not into the chores.
I'm not into it, and that's just where I'm at.
That's
So what were you guys' lowest ones?
My lowest one was also financial with a score of 11.
My lowest one was actually, well, I'll read, wait. First I'll read financial. I think financial is pretty self-explanatory, but just for sake of consistency. People with the financial love style feel loved and valued when their partner shows generosity with finances in order to bring them joy. Treats and surprises are certainly a part of this love style, but it is not limited to receiving gifts. Rather, it describes a larger desire for a partner who is willing to use their financial resources in a variety of ways to help and delight their significant other.
There was specifically one question, which I think is the only reason that it's even has any in mind, and the answer was bringing you a special treat just because. And I was like, yup.
Well,
That's the one.
The thing is, I do think it is important to note that you need to probably have some degree of all of these in any good
You'd
relationship.
think.
Like
Yeah.
that's what's wrong, and the fault with any of these personality tests is we're just not one thing, or you need all of the things.
We kind of just have a lot
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah. So, sweeping generalizations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something similarly because my next lowest one is physical, and it also had a score of 11. And I do believe that it was only 1 or 2 answers
That got you
gave
there.
me any score at all. And one of them was I want my partner to make me feel as if I am desirable, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you do.
kinda.
You don't want to feel. You don't want them to feel indifferent towards you,
Right? And it's I don't and I don't know. I don't often go on dates, but when I do, I usually come back and I'm the first thing, or at least at any time during a date, someone should say that I look nice, right? Even if it doesn't appear that I have put on a lot of extra effort into my appearance, you should tell me that I look nice, right? Mm-hmm. You should say that I look pretty. You should compliment some sort of something that's going on.
One part,
right?
Of anything.
Because we're on a date, you know? Like, that's just.
Well, it turns it from like hanging
things.
out to a date.
Right.
It's one of those defining features of an actual date.
I think maybe that kind of pushed me towards that answer.
It's interesting because physical was actually my lowest at 0 as well.
Wow.
Because there were a lot of, in the last section, how it was phrased was you pick your top one of like 3 categories. Mm-hmm. It was like, I feel best when this happens. Right. Or maybe that was all of them.
No,
it was
two different kinds.
Yeah. It was a category where you could pick this, and this. And it's, I don't know, it was just very interesting. But I'll read the little physical description. Again, probably pretty obvious, but people with a physical lifestyle feel cared for and supported when they're being touched and held by their partner. They love the sensate experience of physical intimacy. This is not just a code word for sex, rather it includes everything from touch to hugs, hand-holding, foot rubs, snuggles, etc. And I don't know, I feel like it's weird for it to
Kiera
be
doesn't
0.
even want to be like that close, just like
I just don't think PDA
so fair.
mind anything else, but like I think how a lot of the words were phrased or like the things were phrased, it was like
again
that feels weird.
Bad survey.
Yeah, bad survey.
Development.
Well, and it's interesting too because from that description, it sounds simply like the act of physical, like touching and things like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the question that I had talked about, whereas like I think was really more of like the how you see your partner. Mm-hmm. It, like not even like I want someone to say that I'm pretty, but I don't want someone to touch me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Interesting. Intriguing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Physical was my number 4.
There you are.
Yeah. At 33.
So higher than most.
Yeah.
There you go. It's fun.
But that is kind of all of the. We took a few more tests. There were a few tests that were just not worth sharing or interesting or just very silly. So there are plenty more personality tests that we could do. But for the sake of ending this podcast and not talking all evening long, maybe there'll be a part 2. We're going to close it down for tonight.
Yeah, so just remember that we release podcast episodes every Wednesday on our Spotify and our YouTube. Go ahead and do that little subscribe thing, you know. I'll point somewhere. I've never done.
I think it's like
where?
over there.
Where? Here? Okay. And if you're listening to the audio version, you just missed us waving our fingers around. Go ahead and give us that 5-star rating on Spotify. It really gives us a chance to be seen by other listeners on the platform. And, you know, yeah, that's all we're really looking for.
And acknowledged.
Right.
We're about to get past 50 listeners, which is
Oh my gosh.
pretty exciting.
As an entertainer, I really just want to feel as if I have an audience to entertain, an advocate who really just wants to be heard, and a campaigner.
I want everyone else to be heard.
Getting this project off the ground, started and continued on. So, you know, take those archetypes, really just kind of roll around with them and, you know, listen to this episode a couple more times if you didn't remember who was who.
Just in case.
Yeah, just to get it figured. We are moving into the holiday season. We're still going to be releasing an episode every Wednesday. So definitely still look out. And, you know, when you're at home with the fam, share us with your siblings. Share us with your parents. I recently found out that Bella's mom listens to our podcast. That's amazing.
Completely unprompted, by the way, from me. I don't even know if I told her that they had a podcast, to be perfectly honest, but she was just out visiting and mentioned that, oh yeah, arguably speaking, I listen to them.
I love
so
it.
At some point, she was one of your first 12 listeners.
That's so exciting.
Yep. So shout out Jenny.
So,
we're so glad that you're here. And thank you for listening to Arguably Speaking. Bye. Bye.